My name is Hamish Kenny, owner of Champagne Rugby, and in November 2023, I quit my job and booked a one-way flight to Asia to make documentaries about rugby. Having played rugby all my life, I wanted to see what rugby was like in this diverse landscape with the mission of promoting rugby in Asia. In the heart of Southeast Asia, amid the bustling streets of Phnom Penh, lies a story of resilience, passion, and the transformative power of sport. In this documentary, we venture into the depths of Cambodia's capital, where poverty and hardship intersect with the indomitable spirit of its people, where amidst the chaos and adversity, we discover a beacon of hope, Soknov, the captain of Cambodia women's rugby team.
Hello, my name is Soknov. I live in Phnom Penh. I am 28 years old. I love rugby.
We shed light on the challenges faced by Soknov and her teammates and the profound impact of rugby on their lives. From the shadows of the past to the promise of a brighter future, this is the story of rugby in Cambodia, a story of triumph against all odds.
I like rugby because rugby, like I tell you already, make good heart. I have a lot of friends and like strong for me also, and rugby very important for my life. Rugby saved my life, and rugby always make me strong and have communication with another people. My job, I'm educator. I'm coaching, training the children, and I captain women Cambodia also. My fear, I'm really very proud. Cambodia have rugby also, and and I want to show people around outside the country about rugby. I think rugby can change Cambodia.
So Cambodian rugby is complex. It has many layers and there's many different parties involved. I'd like to believe that everyone's trying to pull the sport in the right direction. And I suppose when I arrived more than a decade ago, I was surprised that rugby was even in Cambodia. But it has got a reasonably new history, but it's also struggled to find its way over recent years. So I'm Steve Noble. I run a website called Rugby Asia 24/7. I've been in Cambodia for just over a decade. I've previously worked with Cambodia Balop, and I was one of the original founders of a rugby club called the Phnom Penh Social Rugby Club. I think like a lot of people, I was surprised to find rugby when I arrived in Cambodia. I don't know, it was more than 10 years ago, but I remember meeting someone who invited me to come down and watch a game that was on. And off the top of my head, it was either the national men's team was playing against Brunei. The Cambodian team was a mixture of some expats and a lot of Cambodian players. And it was part of what was then an Asia Rugby Championship game. Around the same time, there was a league actually in Cambodia, a men's league. I think they had 4 or 5 teams involved. I was very surprised to find that there was any rugby union. There wasn't any women's rugby at the time, but there was a healthy amount of men's rugby going on. Quite quickly, that all seemed to stop. And I think there were some changes in the federation. Some people who had been driving the sport forward had also left Cambodia, I think, at the same time, or left their roles. Probably around 2015, and between then and now, there's been ups and downs. I think federations kind of been suspended at some point from Asia Rugby. They've got reinstated. I don't think there's been any national representative games for a long time. So it kind of said all these different parties have been doing their own thing in terms of trying to help the game.
My name is Redra. I'm 28 years old. I am a trainer at Cambodia Bao sport program in Cambodia, and I'm working with Cambodia Bao for 11 years. The Cambodia Bao created by 2013, and we develop through sport. It's been like we provide a sport activity to the children We use the rugby for the main sport, but we also develop many different sports as well. We have 9 NGO, 9 partnership. We have six government school, and also we working with disabled children, and also we working with blind and also the deaf children. And in our program, the number around like 800 to 900 of students who are from 8 to 20 years old. Yeah. For all our Cambodia Bao member or all our Cambodia Bao educator, they was playing rugby. So now she's playing for like 9 years, 7 years, you know. We all play rugby. We use like normal training, warm up, a fun exercise, passing, tackling, support, and game. We have a lot of good players, you know. All the kids in our program, they like tackling a lot.
NGOs, which is non-government organizations, there's a lot in Cambodia, but a lot of them here have links to rugby. So PSC, they are the longest running organization here that has supported rugby. Now, what's important, the plus side of these NGOs is that a lot of the kids they've helped, they've literally taken these kids off scavenging and living off the streets. Some of these kids, not all of them, some would have been orphans, some would have been homeless, some would just not have had anything. So these NGOs have helped them by, yes, introducing them to rugby, but also just as importantly, giving them education, food, a roof over their head. But they've, in some instances, really saved their lives. And rugby has been an additional outlet for some of these kids to deal with the trauma, to deal with maybe their family situation, to make their situation of poverty easier to bear, because now they're playing a sport, they're getting out there with their friends, in some cases they're getting a meal provided. So it really has, it helped save their lives, and it's given some of them a future.
Hello, my name is Soknel. I'm Captain Cambodia, and this place is my background when I was young, like Damsai. And now I come to show all of you before my background here. I'm doing here to find plastic for sale and find food for it. Long year ago, the life is so hard, and yes, have a lot of people dead here also. I always remember my memory here. I from Damsai, and now I like PSE choose me go to inside, and yeah, I'm really happy and good life for me also. I can show like people about rugby. Yes.
Yep. So Soknop is a young Cambodian lady who's a coach. She used to play. She's won tournaments with us. I think she's previously aspired to or was the captain or one of the leaders amongst the Cambodian players. But as far as I know, there hasn't been a Cambodian national team involved in a tournament. But she'd be a fantastic asset if they were to play again. You know, she comes from a really tough background. She comes from those kids I mentioned who were scavenging and really fending for their lives on the streets, and then through PSC and through help of organizations, she's had an education. Now she's traveled, she's played rugby in multiple countries, she's coached multiple kids. So she would be the ideal kind of aspirational person that young Cambodians could look up to. And similar on the male side, there's someone like Ra Reth. There's other coaches as well who have become their own leaders, you know, in terms of how they've really carried the sport in some ways. They're role models for the kids that they play and amongst the teammates that they have in terms of showcasing the best of this game.
And teams here today is the Cambodian girls team, and well done. How do you feel?
I feel good, happy because Cambodia let all the girls play rugby, but now the girl Cambodia come to Thailand, very very happy and play with the under the team, and I'm very very happy.
Now tell me a little bit about.
This place is I find plastic, and like my place like the same before I live like this. Have bigger running, I cannot sleep. I find some food at Damsai, and I come to clean and make for it like chicken die chicken, or like the bad meat or fruit is not good. I will taste and to clean and continue eat and yes make food.
Songner background is also very difficult as well. Robbie helps Songner a lot. Before she is very shy. She is very not brave, like not stronger. She very shy. She don't want to talk with any people. She wants to play alone, just go on the side. But as I can see, after that I have been training her for like a few years. She is a strong woman. She has a good communication. She has a good skill, and also she is the one who be like a good person in the group as well. Songner can be a good role model for kids in Cambodia because for her work, she is really focused for that. Okay, and also she have a good communication, especially with the teamwork, especially for the children and also for the foreigner as well. And good skill for Songner is she is very good on working with disability children. Songner can be like a role model for the younger people in Cambodia.
So I 100% believe rugby has the ability to change lives. There are programs in rugby currently in Cambodia in the region that are doing that. You can go and visit them and you can see how they are changing people's lives. Do I think it's reached its full potential in Cambodia? I don't. But the opportunities are there, and I hope from World Rugby, Asia Rugby down to local and club and grassroots that everyone can work better in terms of driving that more, because there are a lot of kids out there and young adults who I think would love this game, and if their parents and families can understand the opportunities it could create for them, they would also embrace rugby more.
For Federation, I am Secretary General and also the head coach for the national team. I'm working for Federation to develop, and then I try to communicate with all the people in Cambodian who can support, and also with the Asia Rugby. But Asia Rugby also try to support us. But actually then we don't have enough people, we don't have enough team and players. Yeah, as we lost starting from the COVID. Yeah. After the COVID, we locked down and then we cannot play anything, any games, because all the players they live away, like they find another job and then they go back to their family, or they looking for new jobs and stuff like that. And then we had also the problems, and I'm sorry that I cannot tell you the problems. That is internal issue problem with the federation, and yeah, and now we are waiting for the good news from the ministry and OCCs.
So before COVID, there was like
yeah, we have a tournament. We have like a domestic tournament. We play every 2 weeks. Yeah, every 2 weeks. I mean like 2 times per month. Yeah, we have the under 13, under 15, under 17, and then adults, and also the women's team. Yeah, so we have a game, we have tournaments. We train the national team for the outside tournaments.
100%, there's not enough media coverage of Asian rugby. Like I said, when I was at the World Cup last year, they were giving us stats. I think there were 130 media from Asia in the World Cup in France. 110 of them were from Japan. So the whole of Asia was represented by 20 people in the media, including me in Cambodia, where there isn't even an active league. Now I cover the region, so I'm being cynical there, but like I travel to all these tournaments, national team tournaments, Asia Rugby Sevens, Asia Rugby Championships, which are 15s, invitational tournaments, And one of two things happens. When I reach out to the organizers asking about the media process, I either get a blank question mark or smile because they don't normally have media attending, or I'm one of maybe half a dozen at most media attending these events. So the fact that most of these tournaments don't really have a setup for media shows there isn't much coverage. But that's also, you know what, that's also a responsibility of Asia Rugby and the individual unions to make sure that they are doing more to publicize the game. And some unions are very good, most unions are terrible at it. And Asia Rugby is equally guilty. Again, they don't have, like we talked about with Cambodia Rugby, there's not many full-time paid professionals working in Asia Rugby. Why that is, I don't know, but they're not doing enough at the professional level to market the game to their audience. We're in one of the most populated regions of the world, with some of the biggest countries in the world, with the most billionaires in the world, and all of the unions and Asia Rugby seem to struggle with funding and with getting bums on seats to stadiums, and even getting a massive amount of interaction via their social media. So something's not being done right. And for me, a lot of that comes down to Asia Rugby as the governing body for the region not doing as well as it could. Because it's not easy. You know, if you've got to send age grade, women's, men's, 7s, 15s teams to all these events, but your union has no money, how does it work? So I just think there needs to be better visibility, better planning, better engagement. And at the end of the day, they've got to remember that they're covering a wide region, lots of cultures, lots of languages, and that's incredibly tough. There's a lot of people in Asia Rugby that do really good stuff. Like of that I have no doubts. But they need more support, like we talked about in Cambodia needs more support. I think Asia Rugby needs more support. They need more professionals doing what they're doing. And they probably need, at the end of the day, a bigger budget, I imagine, to make this work. I think Asia still is the only continent that doesn't have a fully professional league, you know. It's crazy. Now, professionalism is not the only solution to solving any of the problems, but even Asia Rugby suggested 2 years ago they want to have a professional league, but there were just so many question marks from the onset, and now we're 2024, professional league hasn't happened, doesn't look likely to happen. So like, if you're going to make promises, don't make them empty promises. And again, if your interest is in growing the game, I think Asia Rugby has 30 or 40 different unions under its banner, which is huge. How do you keep them all engaged and interested? Like in the region, there's things that are wonderful. I think it's one of the biggest drivers of women's engagement, or women players in the world. We've talked about, I think it's probably the highest percentage of women presidents of federations in the world. I think it's great. There are national age grade women's and men's competitions, but I think we can acknowledge they could be better organized.
For me, I play for Champagne Rugby Club when I was 9 years old until 18. It means like under 9, under 11, under 13, under 15, and also under 18 when I was playing with the Champagne Rugby Club. Over 18 years old, I have been selected for the Stade Khmer, like adult club, like the club in Cambodia. It's called Stade Khmer, and also I have been playing for national team for 3 years as well. What make me happy to join with national team? It is to play for my nationality, and also like myself, I like to be traveling as well, because if I have been selected for national team, I have the competition outside our country, so it's make me feeling good, and also like go to play for my national team.
I want to know that people out there know there is so much more and better quality rugby in Asia than they think. I want them to know that Japan does not equate Asian rugby. There is so much more out there. The fact that you can come play a tournament in Mongolia, in Lahore, in Phnom Penh, in Vientiane, in Kuala Lumpur, it's fantastic. All those federations and those countries I mentioned need to do a better job at telling people there is rugby there. I want to see more Asian teams qualify World Cups on merit, not because pathways have been set up to make it easier for them, but on merit.
why Cambodian not get up about rugby. I don't understand. Like I'm a player like long time. Why I cannot my name like the plat Cambodia plat? Example, I play with Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam like this. Why I cannot? Why the women not get up in Cambodia? I'm sorry. I really want the women get up and have people like development. It's my feeling. We always stay here, and only I think the children. I want to take like women like 18 years old, 19 years old to bring them go to another country. I don't want they stay only Cambodia. Like it's my feeling, but I don't know like federation or government. I want them go to get up and to look around the country what they do, like Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, or Malaysia, or they go high more than Cambodia like this. They want to tell her now what I can do with, only with the until only with a small field I can play, but in the old stadium in Cambodia, I'm never to show the people or friend or my best friend or someone to know me. Have Cambodia also, and then I can play inside. Never to show her, but I like. My mom, I play like small field. I play with people like. I always to like her, but my inside when I go to exercise like Olympic stadium, like the big stadium in Cambodia, only football like this is.
If we're looking at this from like our point of view when we're making the documentary, we want to grow rugby through Asia. We want to show rugby what it does, and right now rugby in Asia is a completely untapped story. No one really knows about what's going on about rugby in Asia. No one really knows about the stories that are happening over here, because one story is on the one side that we want to promote what the great work that they're already doing, but on the other hand, they do not have the systems and a league. The national team is not playing, the women's national team is not playing, and we've been doing coverage with Soknam, Ra, and these are players that have been playing. Soknam was the captain of the Cambodian national team. Ra played for the national team, and these guys are 26, 28, 27 years old, and they should be in the peak of their international rugby career, but because they haven't been able to have the opportunities to play, this hasn't allowed rugby in Cambodia to carry on growing. If you look at the rugby in Cambodia today versus rugby in Thailand, Laos, Philippines, there is a massive difference. 10 years ago, rugby in Cambodia with Thailand, Laos and Vietnam was here, especially on the women's side, but they don't have the current infrastructure and structures in place to make that happen, which is a real shame.
The first thing that I want to see is my Cambodia Federation are working again, okay, coming back stronger, and also like to set up again for the national team. Not only a national team, should be like a club, should be like for the different category, under 15, under 16, under 18. This is what I have been seeing, okay, if the Cambodia Federation start working again. Some of our students say that when is game for the national team, but it's difficult for me to answer, because as you know now, there is not really held the national team in Cambodia now. So Rugby World Cup, I don't dream for the Rugby World Cup. What I have been seeing all around the world or all around Asia, as like I want to see like a Cambodia flag should be in Vietnam, should be in Thailand, should be in just all around Asia first, because as I know that the team who present for the Rugby World Cup is like so high. So I don't want to compare my flag like on the top first. I want to be like first step like in Thailand or in Laos, second step should be in Hong Kong or in Japan, and after that we go Fiji, you know, just step by step, you know. But for sure, I want to see my flag. I want to see my Cambodia flag go on Rugby World Cup.
You know, my fear, I really want to take my mom or my nephew or my niece to go somewhere.
Would you like her to see you play for Cambodia?
Yes.
That'd be...
I want to have time with her.
Nó bên ở rong bên đi tha ban lang ban thì tôi nông tại bên đó là tha mình toàn ai cứ ban thì mình toàn ai cứ ban thì rong nông tha nơi ta cầm sọt ông ban tranh thằng nông bên bật bên tay buông nó chi tiếp nơi tay cầm sọt tiếp vô nơi ta cầm sọt hai người đi sầm ram mơ á người đi sầm ram mơ ban phần đâu lại ba này là ba là ông nâng ban tích một cái quản thác chi phiên vô ta phòng sọt làm bây ấy trao chỉ chấm trao một đi
When I born,
xong về nơi
my mom don't have the house. Like I know you, when I live with you, and we have to stay like this. No. When I born, my mom don't have the house. Like small snug house. Sometimes have a raining or you cannot sleep. I always follow my father
ở đây mình đấy đâu
to find your plastic to sell. I'm not sleep well. I sleep at downside.
mình lùi cao thằng cao tên một trên cái
When I born, my mom don't have money. And have some people to help her bring me out. For me, I hope my nephew, because they study at PSE, I hope they make their lives good more than me when I was young. And I hope they have the good work. Yes, and have my mom back. Don't have me. But they should to have my mom back because I don't want she find money for pay for everything in my house, you know. And she's so old and she's sick also because I have only one mom. And yeah, I have to take care of her. She's not strong.
đấy con lõ người ta vào tha không trăng thư cá thương như là bây giờ là ba lão nó kia to su hột nó.
Before my mom broke with my father because you know my roof. My father is the my roof and like police. I don't know how to say the English. Like Pol
He was part of
yes.
Khmer Rouge.
And he like drink and then always to hit my mom. And my mom cannot continue with him and then I separate.
As you know that we have Khmer rule. Khmer rule is a war between Khmer and Khmer because like also it's say like Pol Pot as well. It is the Cambodia war, and everything was just starting by I think it should be like 1997. It should be just starting. So that's why we are not so very developing. We develop, but it's not go very fast, just a little bit. So yeah.
Sure, so most people would probably know Cambodia because of the genocide that happened, which is a really tragic part of its history, and it's ingrained now in part of its history. So maybe not the best person to talk about how it's impacted people, because I think Cambodians would be best to speak about that. But basically, Pol Pot and his regime took over the country, and for a long period of time, Cambodia was cut off to the rest of the world. And during the period that he was in charge of the country, I think as much as a third of the population was killed, genocide. It's one of the few recognized genocides that even the UN recognizes in terms of the atrocities that have happened to people. So look, that's covering a few decades, but obviously a country that in the 50s and 60s was labeled the Pearl of Asia. And if you look at a lot of the music and the culture and how fast and how well developed Phnom Penh in Cambodia was at that time, compared to the atrocities under the genocide, it really took this country back generations. So I think in the last 20 years, it's been about rebuilding. It's about economically rebuilding. It's about hopefully people healing, which probably hasn't fully happened. And the government now have a lot of strategies which helped investment, foreign investment, and they've got ambitious goals. I think by 2030, they're hoping that the country will achieve middle income status, and by 2050, they'll have a higher income status. And if you think of just how much the genocide impacted this country, that's quite remarkable. You know, in the region, it's still one of the strongest by GDP growth economies, and it's got a lot going for it in terms of how ambitious it wants to be. The genocide was deliberate and targeted, so it aimed to literally wipe out academics, people from arts and culture, and a wide range of industries. So if you take that vacuum had to be filled, obviously in the rebuilding process, people were as poor as you can get. They had no possessions, they had no education. The cities were only occupied by Pol Pot's government and armed forces at the time. So as people returned to Phnom Penh and cities for the first time, some were claiming properties or reclaiming what they thought were their properties because they'd obviously not been here for a long time. So, you know, a lot of the Cambodian kids that I know who have played rugby, literally they and their families are growing up on dumps, collecting money and scavenging to survive. And we're talking about this is in the last decade. So that's how recent that is. Now, some of those large dumps have gone, but there is still poverty in the country. You can still see it when you walk around. But on the same day, you can see a Ferrari driving on the streets, or a limousine, or a Rolls Royce. So Cambodia is at a strange place at the moment where there's new money. A lot of Cambodians have entered middle income. And it's an incredibly young country. The stats change from time to time, but I think something like 70% of the country are under 30 years old. So that shows the opportunities that the youth have. And from engaging with them myself, I can see how different they are to the generation before them. And the generational gaps that I've always said here are shorter. They're not generation gaps we might have in the West of 10, 15 years. Generation gaps here are probably 5 years because of how quickly they've had to adapt. So I think the youths are more engaged with education, technology. They want a better life for themselves and their families. And I think that hunger is kind of driving some of the change you're seeing.
Yes, I want the people, watch the video and know about downside or background before I live here. Is the real downside before I work here. I really want the player to support like equipment or clothes or shoes. Yes, like some like for the children in Cambodia because we don't have much for the children. And yes, I really want them support Cambodia, support Cambodia Palau. I have the team, international team, play like 2017, and we can play still 2019, and then like finish like no more tournament for Cambodia, and then I lost a lot of players. I really want like the player and the people come back again to play rugby, and we have the team go back to the Asian rugby, you know. My feeling is I'm so bad, like I'm so bad. I'm not happy why Cambodia don't have rugby. And yes, and I look around the Asian, like a lot of players, a lot of team, they come to training, they know how to play rugby. And why Cambodia don't have rugby like this is I really sad. And yes, I want you show the people about rugby in Cambodia and have like people support, and like friend generation not push, and then no more player they want to join, you know. But if they try to propose or they try to training the player, I think have a lot of player want to join. I'm sad because why I cannot show the people around the Cambodia don't have Cambodia like play, because have a lot of best player in Cambodia also, but they cannot go to play, you know. They cannot to show someone, like example like me. I'm really love, and I'm the captain Cambodia. I want like the plate to show someone, oh, Cambodia have the Cambodia with the like Thailand team also like this, you know. I want to show, oh, Cambodia can play and have the gold player. For me, I want to message for rugby player or international rugby to come to visit Cambodia and support Cambodia.